What's up, everybody? This is Coos with Coos' Corner. I'm here with special guest Sam the Man from the Mountaineer Effect. How you doing, Sam?
Good, man. What's going on, everybody? You doing all right, man?
Doing great. I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
You man. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you real quick?
On YouTube, the Mountaineer Effect, and then on Facebook at Geek Girl TV, but mostly mainly on Facebook. I mean,
Okay.
mainly on YouTube. I'm sorry.
On YouTube. That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. And you talk. I'm assuming you do college football.
Do a little college football. I have a lot of guests on. I'm starting to get into college basketball. I'm actually more into college basketball really than football even. But a little bit of everything. You know, I like to talk sports in general. We bring on guys that talk hockey and just a little bit of everything from time. You know, just kind of whatever flavor we have going at the time.
Cool. Well, all right. Well, any of my viewers who are not familiar with Sam, go check him out on the Mountaineer Effect. I'll put a link in the description box for his channel. But that's what we're going to talk about today, since he and I are both Mountaineer fans. Bowl game announcements are out. We're playing Minnesota in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona on December the 28th. Get this, 10:15 p.m. kick on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
When people have to work the next day. It's fantastic. We got the greatest kickoff time. I'm being sarcastic, obviously, but that is horrific kickoff time, in my opinion. But
I agree. I think it's honestly, I think it's a horrific kickoff time and a horrific bowl for West Virginia to get put in. West Virginia traveling to Phoenix, Arizona is not something that's really feasible for a lot of us, and putting us all the way across the country, and just to me is it's not fair for the fan base. I'll just put it that way.
I agree. And of course, our opponent, Minnesota, they got to travel too, but they're much closer to Arizona than we are.
Yeah.
But it's like the last time we got stuck in this bowl. It used to be the Cactus Bowl. I think it's the same bowl that we had to play Arizona State.
Yeah.
Really? The team from Arizona. We ended up winning that game, but it's almost like any chance they get to poke a stick at West Virginia, they do it almost.
Well, and that goes to the whole thing about getting out of the Big 10 or the Big 12. I mean, something's got to happen there, because that's what's going to keep happening year after year after year. Is they're going to keep poking us with a stick, and I think they do it on purpose. I think they always have, but they're going to keep poking us with a stick, and the fans aren't going to be able to go to the bowl games, and we're not going to be able to travel. And if we were in the ACC, we'd be on the East Coast, and we could go anywhere we wanted to go.
Yeah. Now, that being said, if we hadn't had a better season, we'd have got a better bowl game. So it's hard to, feel too sorry for them in that regard. But I agree with you. And that whole ACC thing is something we may actually touch on. I'm glad you brought it up, because I got a question for you. But first, what do you think about our opponent, Minnesota, at least?
I'm glad it's not Purdue.
Amen.
That was what I was afraid of. I was afraid we were going to draw Purdue. Purdue's one of those teams that you don't want to play right now. I put them up there with Pittsburgh and Utah. Those are three teams you do not want to play this time of the year. They're all looking really good. So when I saw that it was Minnesota, I think they're beatable. They got a strong offensive line. They've got a myriad of running backs. I think they run 4 or 5 deep at running back. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be the kind of game where our defense, if they can set the tone from the beginning, I think we can win.
I agree. They are what I find intriguing about this game. Both teams rely on their defense very heavily. Minnesota's offense has not done well either the last couple seasons. Ever since they lost their Kirk Ciarocca, who was their offensive coordinator back in 2019, who ironically is at West Virginia now as an analyst. And I just saw reports when I was researching for this video, they're trying to hire him back. So what if he goes? What if he gets hired before this game? Does he take trade secrets with him?
Well, and they do. And
would like this guy. If you look, their offense under him 2 years ago was 21st in the nation with this same quarterback. Their quarterback is a senior, and I read that he's going to be coming back next year, which means he's more than likely to be playing in this game. Obviously, we think Derek Dagey likely will be as well. Sounds like he's going to come back. I don't know that he's made it official yet, but I think silence probably means that he's coming back. At least that's how I'm taking it. But they're only averaging. I think I wrote down a few notes here. They're only averaging offensive. They're only averaging 26 points a game. Minnesota is, but defensively, they're only giving up 18 a game. So this could be one of those 14 to 13 games, or because you got two bad offenses against two good defenses.
Yep, and they're both traveling halfway across the country to play in a neutral site, and you got to take all that into consideration. And I think it's going to be a really good matchup. Like, I think anybody that likes good bowl games, this is going to be a good bowl game. I think my big concern, I don't think Letty Brown's going to be playing. I think he's going to sit out, which I respect that decision. I think he's got every right to do that. So that actually makes me a little bit excited because I really like Mathis I always forget his name, the backup.
Tony Mathis.
Yeah, Tony Mathis. Yeah, I really like him. I'm really excited to see what he can do on his own. He's such a different back than Letty Brown, but we'll just have to see how that goes. I haven't heard any more about any other guy setting out or anything, but I think Letty. I hate that, but I understand it.
I do too, and that guy's taking a beating this year. He's carried the ball a lot. He's been really the last 2 years, honestly. He's been a workhorse, and he's got that senior. He got an invite to play in the East. I think it was the East-West game, so I'm sure he wants to get ready for that. And he wants to play at the next level. And if setting out will help him with that, now if we were playing for a conference championship or something, I wouldn't agree with it. And I don't like guys setting out bowl games. I really don't. But if looking at it from his perspective, he's got to do what's best for him. I expect Dante Steels will probably play, seeing as his brother did, and those two guys are they're West Virginians, man. They were born here. They went to high school here. Their dad played here. I don't see him sitting out. Josh Chandler-Samito, wouldn't surprise me if he did, but at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't either. I'll be anxious to see what happens there. I actually think he would be a bigger loss to us than Dante Steels, only for the simple fact that we don't have a lot of depth at linebacker anyway, and we have depth at defense. Even though Dante's good, we have more depth at that position. We're already injured. X-Ray Lowe's already been out. Now he could be. As far as I know, he's out for the season. And our linebacker core has been banged up, so I would hate to see Josh Chandler-Samito set out. But there again, if he does, I really can't blame him. And these bowl games come down to that a lot of times. Honestly, anymore, it's what team has the most players actually playing in the game.
Yeah, that's something else too. I don't think I've ever talked about it on any of my podcasts, but West Virginia has been really beat up this year, and they've been really short, at a lot of positions on depth, and a lot of really important, linebacker, D-back. They haven't had the depth that they normally have, and when you have kids that's already entered the portal and guys that are getting hurt, it really detracts from how you practice and how you play. And, I think that's had a little bit of an impact this year. I think more so than we probably realize.
I think so too. And I think it's impressive. And I know we played Kansas and Texas our last two games. I get that. But we had a safety playing linebacker in both of those games, Scotty Young, who, by the way, he's a senior as well. Who knows if he'll be playing. We had guys playing out of position. We had a true freshman starting both of those games in St. McLeod, who ended up playing really well, actually. So I'm looking for, that kid's future is bright. He was second on the team in tackles, I think, in both games, if I'm not mistaken. But, that was a great point, man. Depth has been a huge factor for us even before the season started, just because of lack of guys. And then you add in all those injuries. it just adds fuel to the fire. And I mean, I heard Coach Brown say in one of his press conferences that he's been playing basically the same 5 defensive backs the entire season for the most part.
Yeah, I mean that's hard. Like, people that don't understand the physical demands playing D1 college football. A lot of people criticize, especially basketball players and stuff for setting games out and things like that. But I mean, there are times where your body needs a rest and you need a minute. And when you're that short on positions, you can't get that. I mean, that's where bad injuries really do happen. Is when you're fatigued and you have to be out there anyway. So
absolutely, yep. I agree.
Hopefully they can make it through this bowl game with what with what they have and nobody gets hurt and we get into the all season on a high note.
Yep, I agree. I think it's. I think you look at it like this. I've seen some of our fans on Facebook and stuff saying that we don't deserve a bowl game. But look, these kids, they fought back second half of the season, went 4-2 to finish the season. They earned that, in my opinion. They get a whole 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of extra practices in. That's going to help them. They get an extra game against a Power 5 team. Mm-hmm. Pretty decent competition. That's going to help them. I don't see any downside to playing the game, to be honest with you.
Well, and I don't either. I've always kind of looked at bowl games as participation trophies to an extent. That's why if guys want to set out, I don't have a problem with it. But at the same time, like what you said, it gets you more practice. It gets you another game against a Power 5 opponent. It gets your younger guys some experience in big time situations, which, when you're banged up at the end of the season, the chances for your younger guys to actually get to play is a lot greater. So, I think for West Virginia, this bowl game, even though I'm not happy about the location of it, I am happy with who we're playing. I think it's going to be good for the whole team. I think this could be the high mark of the season for Neal Brown. I would like to see him get to that 7-6 mark and get into next year and never look back at at that 500 record that he's currently setting at.
I agree with you. I think it's a great launching point for him. And it's a great team building opportunity. I mean, they got a chance to build team chemistry. They get to travel together, hang out together in Arizona, because I'm sure they'll get to do some extracurricular stuff while they're there as part of the bowl game reward. And they get to play another game together, man. I mean, I don't think people understand the importance of that, of how much camaraderie and team chemistry and all that plays into a team's success. I think it's very important.
Well, bowl games are a reward. I mean, it is a reward, and whether you agree with it being for a 6-6 record or not, it's still a reward. And, they get these kids go to these bowl games. If you've never been to a bowl game, even small bowl games, they make a big deal out of it for these kids. They have pre-game shows and post-game shows, and depending on when it is, they'll have fireworks and bands, and they put on a good time for these kids so they can go and have a good time and relax and unwind after a really hard season. So, I mean, it's really, it's fun for the fans, but the kids really enjoy it a lot too.
Right. Absolutely. And I know we touched on playing a Power 5 opponent is great. But I just think playing that extra game in general, and Neal Brown, he's great in bowl games. Historically, he's 4-0 in bowl games. So I feel like the team will show up ready to play. He seems, for whatever reason, you give him a lot of time to prepare, he seems to do well. Yeah. And the only thing that concerns me is, Minnesota's, they're 8-4. They finished 8-4 in the Big Ten. They beat Wisconsin. They finished the game with a victory over Wisconsin. They've beaten Purdue. Now, they beat Purdue earlier in the season before Purdue got on that roll they were on, but they did beat them. They played Ohio State pretty tight early on. So they've got, and PJ Fleck, I think, is a great coach. They're a well-coached team. Yeah. So they're going. It's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of imagination. It's going to be a tough game, and I haven't seen the line on the game yet, but I'm sure it's already out by now. But I don't expect West Virginia to be favored in the game.
No, I would imagine that they've got to be at least a 10-point dog, I would imagine, just because of, the Big Ten and, you know, the way Las Vegas shows love to certain conferences over others. And I think that's fair. I think, you know, West Virginia going in as a dog would be befitting this West Virginia team. I mean, the minute you start favoring them over another team, they they like to make a fool out of you. But, you know, I think going in 10 points or so, I think that's more than manageable. And really, it can't be that high because, I mean, we're talking about a game that the score is going to probably be, you know, combined under 30. I mean, you know, maybe 35, but that's about all. Like, it can't be too much.
I agree. And I'm like you said earlier, looking forward to having these young guys play. Tony Mathis, maybe Justin Johnson get some carries. Just young guys at every position. I'm hoping they get some reps, man. Because going into next year, those guys are going to be leading this team, and we're going to need them. But I appreciate you hopping on here. Everybody, please go check out Sam the Man on his channel, the Mountaineer Effect, and he's got some great content out there. He and I are both after that 1,000 subscribers. Go if you haven't yet, go to subscribe to his channel. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do so. Hit the thumbs up button for us.
Click that. Yeah, click subscribe.
Yeah, boop it. As one guy on YouTube I watch, boop, boop, boop that like button. And it really all those things help us out. Comment, let us know what you think about the bowl game coming up against Minnesota. Do you think it's a good matchup? Are you excited about it? Is it for you? What do you think? We'd like to know. Either way, even if you disagree with us, that's okay too. But listen, everybody, appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day. Until next time. And let's go Mountaineers.
Horns down always.